Alright, so this is going to be a review of the 1/50th scale NZG Liebherr SR14 LGP. This is a welding tractor and it will assist on a pipeline project. There really isn't much to do with this model, and I'm sure you could tell just from looking at it. You know, unless you have a collection full of dozers or pipeline equipment, having this in a collection with, you know, many excavators and an excavator, a model collection, I should say, with basic equipment, really, it probably wouldn't really fit in. So it's kind of like a specialty model, but nonetheless, it's really cool to have, and it has some really cool functions, and I'm sure that many of you will enjoy it. So to start off, I'm going to start with the back. The back has the power pack, what I believe, for all the equipment up front. As you can see, it looks like it has a little control panel or gauges right here. You can also see it has the little silver handle for the door, which, assuming that it would open. Looking at the piece here in the back, you could tell it pretty much is plain. There really isn't much to it. I'm not familiar with the real machine, so I really don't know how the real one is, but it would have been nice if NZG would have put, you know, something on the top to break up all the yellow. It kind of looks plain. Nonetheless, still really cool. Looking at the back over here, and here you could make out some of the detail better. You can see there's two doors in the back here, and they have the handles here, and you have the warning stripes right here. The right side of it is pretty much identical to the other side with the handle. There's no gauge or anything on this side. But, you know, still pretty cool looking, and it gives the actual machine a really cool look. If we look at the end of the carriage, then the carriage does look very nice. The model itself is an LGP, so if we flip it over and look at the tracks, you can see that they are very wide, so I like that a lot. And they're also very detailed, which also looks pretty good. If we look from the back, you could kind of make out the width of them, which it is actually pretty nice. And something interesting is that it actually does have a hitch right there in the center, so that is also pretty cool that they did add that. Coming to the side, and this is the right side of the machine, you can see as you get towards the front, it starts to look a lot better compared to the back. And this is what I mean by they should have added something to the back. If you compare the front of the machine to the back, it honestly really doesn't compare, because it is a lot different. And just looking at the side here, you could see it says S714, and it also says it right there. And then it says mats, www.mats.com, assuming that has something to do with the attachments that this machine is outfitted with. If we look at the top of the deck, you can see it does look very cool. Diamond plate texture, and it has the striping. And it also has a ladder, well, I should say a railing, and a mirror right there. Right here is to what I believe is one of the radiators for the machine. Not exactly sure. And if we turn to this side, you can see it is almost identical, just about. And there's another box right here with some stuff, assuming it's for the front, maybe some torches or welders. And if we look at the cab, you can see it's in the Liebherr colors, and it does look very nice. I really like how the cab is white. It breaks up all the yellow on the machine. You can see the railings and everything. I believe the railings are metal. I really don't want to, you know, mess with them too much. But assuming that they are metal, they are a little thick, but they still look very good. Front of the cab, as you can see right here, has the windshield wiper, and the right side of the cab has everything as the left, and the back has the AC unit for the cab. The inside of the cab it's pretty detailed. It's honestly very hard to see in there. It's easier to see in there on camera, honestly. So that's interesting to say the least. And looking at the front, you can see it has replicated grills, the air intake, and the exhaust. The exhaust is pretty plain though. Really not much to it. Now, coming to the front, and this is what everybody's probably waiting for. I was extremely impressed with the crane on the model, and I'll call it a Knuckle Boom. I was extremely impressed by it. I didn't think it would function as well as it does, but before we get to that, you can see it's just mounted on pretty much this whole piece right here. Just extends from the back to the front, and it's mounted like that. It has somewhat of a bumper, I guess, if you want to call it, and it has a warning stripe right there. It also has some stripes up here. You can see the oxygen and acetylene tanks up here for the welders, or if you have to cut anything. And what they replicate as where you would step is right there. Now getting to the part that everybody has probably been waiting for since the beginning of this review, and it's the functions of the Knuckle Boom. So I'm just going to place it over here. So to bring the Knuckle Boom out, you pull it out like that, and that's the furthest that piece will go up. And then you tilt this piece up, and that's the furthest that will go up. So being that it does go up that high, I'm going to tilt it down so I can extend it. And I'll slide it over. This piece will extend out. This one will extend out, and this one will extend out. So that is pretty impressive, and it will only go up that high. This machine really isn't meant for height as it is meant for radius, and it's very cool to say the least. Now, starting with the hook over here, there's no latch to it, but the cool thing is that it will turn, so that's also pretty cool. I guess you could say the quality of the boom is alright. You know, naturally with this many sections there is going to be some play in it, like there is, and they do extend out on cylinders, and when you do push them in, the line that is replicated on them will just squeeze together like that. Now I'll show you how much it will be able to turn, and why if you turn any more it will break. So it'll turn pretty much a 360, as you can see, but if you noticed when you start to turn it, this hydraulic line right here will move with it, so you don't want to turn it too much unless you'll snap the hydraulic line, but it does turn like that, so that is pretty cool. So overall, you can get the model for around 100 and I want to say 130 with shipping from most places, which is more than a good deal. Like I said in the beginning of the review, it's kind of like a specialty model. You know, I wouldn't expect that many people to have this in their collection, but it is very cool to have. I'm sure some would even use it as just, you know, an on-site crane. Cylinders are alright. They really don't hold up much, to be honest with you, but they're better than nothing. So it's a really cool model, and if you're into specialty models like this, it's definitely worth getting, and I believe it's priced very well, especially with the functions of the Knuckle Boom crane. So hopefully you enjoyed the review, and check back for more.